episode, if you haven't heard already, Disney bought Star Wars, or I should say bought LucasArts, the firm behind Star Wars, and they're gonna do more movies. Especially to me, the prospect of 7, 8, and 9, as well as 10, 11, 12, makes me kind of excited. It's cool as we finally get to find out maybe what happens to Luke, Leia, and Han. Hopefully, anyway. Well, for this episode, I decided to do another Star Wars game. And that is, of course, this fine gem, Super Star Wars for the Super Nintendo. What's cool is the main trilogy, 4, 5, and 6, so New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, were made into Super Nintendo games. But for this review, I'm going to stick with the first one, Super Star Wars. So, bust out your lightsabers or get a blaster, and hopefully shoot first. And let's go take a look at this awesome gem. Super Star Wars was released in 1992 for the Super Nintendo. It is the first of 3 games to be released for the Super Nintendo based on the original Star Wars trilogy, consisting of Episode 4, A New Hope, Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back, and Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. For the most part, Super Star Wars is pretty faithful to the movie it's based on, with some changes. For example, instead of just going to the sand, instead of having the sandcrawler stop by Luke and his uncle's farm to buy the droids, Luke actually goes to the sandcrawler and fights in it to find to find R2-D2. C-3PO, of course, is already with him, but he fights and does awesome stuff and all that good stuff. And of course, later on, Luke is able to acquire the lightsaber, as he did in the movie. But unlike the movie, Luke actually gets to use this. And also, besides Luke, later on you'll get to use Han and Chewbacca as well. And later on they become playable characters who you can switch every time you die. And each character has their different strengths and weaknesses. Well, most notably, when you first get Chewbacca has a longer life bar, which makes it easier to get past sticky situations, which is pretty cool. And also, each character has a regular jump as well as a super jump. And I think Luke has like a slide, and Han has a roll, and I think Chewbacca has like a slide as well, or something like that. And also, there are, besides having 2D from side to side, from the platforming levels of shooting and stuff, there's also Mode 7 levels, which take advantage of the Super Nintendo's Mode 7 effect, which allows for, basically, it's kind of like rotation effects and stuff. And for those, for instance, there's some in the sand, like for instance, the second level of the game has you in Luke's speeder looking for the sandcrawler. But in the meantime, as you go, you have to fight Jawas. And also you have to be careful because your land speeder can get low on fuel. So to replenish your gas or your fuel, you blast, I think those all those evaporators, which give you fuel to help power your land speeder, which is cool. And also later on near the end of the game, you fly the X-Wing. So you first fly it across before you do the famous trench battle, you fly it all across the surface of the Death Star, destroying ties and towers. And then you switch to the Twitch view, where you have to basically stay alive, as hopefully it's been showing. I'm showing you here. I died quite a little bit getting to the main part because after you destroy the ties, or after you go a certain distance, you fight Darth Vader, or you fight Darth Vader, and then after that, you can try to make an attempt to blow up the Death Star with your proton torpedoes. You might add, they're proton with an R, not photon with an H. This is not Star Trek. So please, so I'm just making that clear right now, just so you Harp fans know. It's proton. This is Star Wars. It's proton torpedoes, not photon torpedoes. So, okay. Also to notice, as I was playing this game, and thinking this game, there are a couple debug codes for this, which is how what I used to play this game, to show as much of the game as possible. I just skipped around different levels just to see what they were all about. One level, for instance, what I found funny was fighting in the Death Star hangar. Somehow, as you fight, some random TIE fighter comes screaming from the right to the left of the screen. And I'm thinking to myself, how can they dodge that? Even though, of course, I answered my own question by jumping over it. But still, how can you dodge a freaking TIE fighter in that, it's like, and I guess, I know it's a game, and I know it's like, yeah, it's a game, so they can jump really high. But holy peaches and steak. That's insane. I must say, Han and Chewie must have the Force jump as well, I guess. Won't you say? Oh, and speaking of other things, and as well, there's also, besides the Luke's lightsaber, even though each character starts out as a pretty weak blaster, but there are blaster power-ups that you can upgrade to get a more powerful gun. I think it's like, start out with the blaster, and then you can get, like, I believe, there's another one that makes it a little bit more powerful, but my favorite is the Seeker blaster power-up. So you can just shoot, and it hunts, and you can rain death and destruction on your Empire and other foes, which is pretty awesome if you ask me. But of course, I get kind of careful because I get fearful once I get that secret power-up. I don't want to get another power-up, otherwise I'll lose it. Even though the one after that is more powerful, I love that seeking ability of that secret power-up. So yes, secret power-up, good. But the other power-ups are pretty cool too, as well. And by the way, you can also double it and triple and such up to 8 times your score. But I never really do that too much because to me the score doesn't really seem to do anything for me. I just like to shoot those stormtroopers. Anyway, if you're lucky to get this game, it does go for about. It is on the Virtual Console. For I believe, since it's the Super Nintendo game, I believe it goes for about, I'm guessing, $8, $8 or $10 on the Virtual Console, one of those. And if you can, pick it up. In fact, even if as you can tell, I have the cartridge version of this game. But anyway, you can pick this game up. It's a good challenge. And of course, if you're getting your butt kicked a little bit too much, there are a couple of codes, and there's a debug code if you want to skip around just to see what the game can offer, which is pretty cool. So if you can, feel the force on this one and pick this gem of a game up. And as I usually say, if you live in or around South St. Paul, Minnesota, or the Twin Cities metro area in particular, please visit my good friends at Level Games. Besides video games, they also have collectible card games such as Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! And as well as tabletop board games as well. And the address and their website should be down below if it hasn't been already. Hello. And if you're viewing this on YouTube, if you haven't already, again, please rate and subscribe to my channel. And also, I have a Facebook fan page, a Facebook group page, as well as a Twitter feed and website. And all that stuff is down below as well. Hello there. Well, as usual, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for another episode of Power Up.